welcome back to my channel. My name's Bonnie and this is Happy Space Create. If you have not seen my face before, welcome, thank you so much for joining me today. This is my channel and this is where I talk about all things sewing and crafting. Join me every week for all of your favourite sewing related content. So if that is something you want to see, do click subscribe down below and give this video a little thumbs up. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about what I made in the month of April, so stay tuned. So welcome back to this month's edition of what I made this month. It's been a bit of a mixed bag this month, I'm not gonna lie, so this is gonna be a brutally honest video about my sewing victories and my sewing fails. I have got one success story to share with you, I've got one unfinished project, and I've got one totally abandoned item that I'm just probably never going to finish. So which one would you like to get started on? Shall we talk a little bit about my unfinished project first of all, just to keep you interested onto my sewing victories later on. So if you watched my last month's videos, you will know that I was planning to make the Elliott top by Cool Stitches, and I did post a video of it on my Instagram as well of how far I had got on the process. That is literally how far I got on the process. I have the garment here, completely unfinished. I got to the sleeves. I've got a sleeve, I've got a bodice, and I've got a ruffle, which was a bit last minute. I put a ruffle on, and to be honest, it's completely unfinished because I just lost interest in the pattern. I know it sounds really horrible because it's a lovely pattern and I can't wait to finish this and get it done. But I'll be honest, I tried the top on as it is and it's just too short. So I added a ruffle thinking that that would change things and give me that extra length, but actually it now just doesn't suit my figure. It hits me in all the wrong places. So I will maybe finish making this and make some adjustments, but I might also just abandon it because it's not gonna turn out how I thought it was going to turn out, which is such a shame. I'm definitely still interested in making the Cool Stitches Elliott top again. I think next time I will lengthen the pattern. Now I know that it just comes up that little bit too short on me. It's my own fault. I should have read the pattern measurements much more clearly. I will eventually get round to finishing it, but the event that I was planning to wear it to, my first trip to the pub, that came and went, and the top wasn't done, and now the weather's been so pants, I have not had a sunny day to wear it on, so that's probably why I haven't rushed to finish this. I could finish that in about 20 minutes, all it needs is the channeling sewn through, but I haven't dedicated that 20 minutes to that project, so someone slap me on the wrist so that I can get this done. I will insert some pictures of what it's supposed to look like and the extent that I have reached it to, but yeah, I want to be totally transparent about my sewing because I just feel like it's really important to let you guys know that I don't get things right, and I'm as much of an amateur sewer as everyone else out there is, and I just think it's really important to let you know that I don't make great things every time. Like sometimes I do get it wrong. So moving on to my next thing, the next item that I made is the Daria Patterns Rose Cafe Bustier top. This, in my defence, this is a toile, so I knew that this is a pattern that I have never made before. I've never made anything like it before, and I knew that I wasn't going to get it right first time. So I decided to cut up some old fabric that I had lying around and give it a good go. So I will show you what I've got. It's here on my lovely dolly. There she is, looking beautiful. So as you can see, if I move up a little bit actually, I'll bring Dolly in the frame. So as you can see, she's a bit nude at the moment, a bit bare. But this is basically my bodice. This is how far I've got. Now all you eagle-eyed viewers will notice that it is miles too big for my body shape. Again, completely my fault. Probably should have fitted it as I went along. Didn't do that though, did I? I just thought, oh, I'm in the flow. I'll carry on. Note to self, before top stitching all of these lovely seams and fully lining it, make sure it fits you. That's a really good idea. But like I said, not too fussed because this was just a little tester. I do need to work on the fit. I think I'll probably size down in the future. I have got the cups that are meant to go on, haven't attached them because at this stage I know it doesn't fit, so I just don't really feel like there's any point continuing with that because it's the type of pattern that's meant to be completely skin tight within reason, and it's really baggy and my bits would be falling out all over the place, so I just thought I'd leave it where it is. Now I know I've learned what I've needed to learn from this. If I turn it round, you'll see that I've managed to attach the straps. They're just pinned in to keep them out of the way. I've attached the straps, so they're ready to go over to the front. But I did such a hash job of this zip. Some of the worst zip installations that I've ever done. I'm wondering if you can see that. I will zoom in. But I mean, it just doesn't even nearly meet. It doesn't even nearly meet. I mean, it's shoddy sewing. If this was the sewing bee, I'd be out. Just like that. So I did surprise myself with that because it's one thing it not fitting you and, you know, skipping a step. But I mean, that's like not acceptable behaviour, is it really? Again, I'll be completely transparent. I've unpicked this top about 4 times now, and I'm just not at that stage where I'm prepared to do it again. So for me, this has been a learning experience, and I'm ready to call that a day, really. So Daria Patterns, Rose Cafe, bustier top. I will insert some pictures of what it's supposed to look like. This isn't the end for me, by the way. This was just a practice run. It always was just a practice. So yes, this isn't the end. I will come back to this and it's going to be bigger and better. Such a shame because I only had a little bit of this fabric left and this is gorgeous fabric. So yeah, that's, again, completely transparent of my sewing wins and my sewing loses because everyone does get it wrong. And this month was my month. If you watched my May plans video, you will know that my Me Made May pledge was to go back on some of my Me Made outfits that don't fit me so well and to make those adjustments. I probably won't get that task done in May, but it is on my list of things to do, to go back and make those adjustments again to make sure that I'm left with more wearable garments. This project is not included in that list. It's just not. Like I said, I've unpicked it 4 or 5 times now, and that is the end of that saga. There's only so many times you can unpick something and sew it wrong, you know? So anyway, that's that. Thanks, Dolly, for your wonderful job. You did a great job, darling. Go have a break. Go on, go have a sit down. Go on. So on to my sewing victories. So I think I've made my favourite dress this month, in April. As you all know, if you followed me for a little while on YouTube now, you will know that I am a huge fan of gingham. Everything in gingham, I'd have it all. And I made the Nina Lee spring dress pattern, which came free in the March edition of Simply Sewing magazine. This has been a really popular pattern. Lots of people received that dress for free, and I've seen lots of people's beautiful versions of it. So I was really happy to make this dress and that it turned out so successful, because after my sewing fails, I really, really needed a win, because my like confidence of sewing was just plummeting down. And it is really important to, you know, to when you're putting time and effort into something, it's important to get that gain out of it again. And it's so disheartening when you sew things and it just doesn't go your way, because you just feel like you've wasted so much time. So I was so pleased that this dress came out the way it did. I will insert some videos because I went to the park with my boyfriend and walked our dog, and he very patiently and lovingly took videos of me wearing my dress, because I never really managed to get good photographs. I'm always taking them in the living room. So he was very patient and he took lovely videos of me, so I will insert them right there for you. But yeah, I love this dress. I love the way it looks. I like the fact that I can style it in different ways. I've actually worn it a few times. The first time I wore it with a leather jacket and some tights and some boots, and I went out for brunch with my friends. And that was such a great day. It wasn't that warm, so that's why I had the jacket and the tights on, but it was still a really versatile dress, because although it was sort of rainy out, it didn't look too summery to wear. So I loved that. I love the ruffly sleeve. And then the last time I wore it with just plain naked legs and some chunky boots as well. And again, I really loved the feel of it. I think I'm also going to wear it with some cute trainers throughout the summer. I just think it's such a versatile dress, and it is probably one of my favourite things that I've made to date. So I'm hopefully going to wear this at every opportunity. The weather is still really rubbish, so like I said, I'm really pleased that I can wear it like lots of different ways. So the Nina Lee dress I made in a size 12. That was the right size according to my dress measurements. Obviously I didn't cut the size that I would be in ready to wear clothes. I always follow the measurements on the back. I think it's really important because the sizes also vary so much depending on what sewing house, you know, pattern house you're using. So I followed the instructions. One thing I will note, and bear with me, I'm just going to grab the pattern one moment. So this is what the pattern looks like there. One thing to note is that when I opened up the pattern, and actually a lovely lady who I've been speaking to called Kim, we've like connected through YouTube and Instagram. She makes some beautiful clothes. I will actually link her Instagram down below if you do want to go follow her. But she messaged me after my first impressions video to do with the sewing magazines, and she said that the pattern sizes were different from the finished garment measurements, but the finished garment measurements were actually smaller. So I was looking through the pattern and we discussed, like, you know, which size. We've got very similar measurements, so what size we were going to make. I knew that she had made a size 12. And it fitted her perfectly, so I felt really confident to make the size 12 for myself, even though the garment measurements inside weren't right for me. So I was really lucky to have sort of a fellow sewist to reach out to about that. I think it's probably just a typo in the pattern. These things do happen, and I'm sure if you had reached out to Simply Sewing or Nina Lee, they could confirm the right sizes for you. So do note that I think there is a typo inside, but like I said, I made a size 12 and it fits me perfectly. I did actually add a couple of inches to the second tier just to make it that little bit longer, so almost more of a midi length. That's the length that I wanted. So I added 2 inches to the bottom, and that just allowed me that extra hemming space. So yeah, that's the only adjustments I made. It is a fantastic pattern. I will 1000% be making more of them in 100 different colours, because I just think that it is such a great pattern. I managed to whip it up in sort of a day. I just spent one weekend on it and I was so pleased that I did. It's definitely what I needed after having 2 projects just not go my way. I definitely needed to have that confidence restored. So I'm so glad that this went as well as it did. And I have enough gingham left over to make a True Bias Ogden cami, which I'm chuffed with because, again, I love gingham and I just think I was really happy that I had some left over, so you will probably see that coming up in a few weeks' time. So that's everything that I made in the month of April. Like I said, it's a real mixed bag this month for me. I would just rather be really honest with you and let you all know that it's okay to make mistakes. I make them more often than not. And it's so important to make mistakes when you're sewing or learning to sew, because we can't all get it right every time, and we have to start somewhere. So it's really important to make mistakes because that's how we learn. I've learned to, measure myself before cutting out. That's really important. Measure twice, cut once. That's what they say. So I'm really glad that I had a little win at the end, and you have to see the silver linings in these things sometimes. So I will try all of those projects again at a later date, but I'm going to move on to something a little bit easier for me, give my mind a bit of a rest from all the thinking, just to get my mojo back. But that's basically it from me today. Just a little video to let you know what I've been up to. So if you have liked this video, do give it a little thumbs up. And if you are interested in seeing what I make next month, do give me a little subscribe down below. But thank you so much for joining me in this video today, and I'm going to see you really soon. Bye!